personally very excited to introduce our next guest because he's the only other person to have a panel that's also not on the show. So it gives me some company. And we worked long and hard on this intro song. He plays such awesome music. The photo op room always has an amazing song. So we thought long and hard, and this is his intro song.
Stop saying long and hard.
It's a beautiful day, neighbor. Won't you mind? Won't you be my neighbor?
Thank you, guys. You're welcome. Hey, I have a question for you, Schmelkster, Schmelkmeister, Schmelkman,
Meister.
Schmelkman?
So this is supposed to be tips, photography tips.
I think so, yeah.
Supposed to be photography tips, but just so you guys know, there is one man, and only one man, who has been to every single, solitary Creation Supernatural convention.
I don't know
So feel
if that's
free to-
something to be ashamed of.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So feel free to ask your photography questions about contrast, lighting and angles and movement and all sorts of stuff that I know nothing about. But also, feel free to pepper in a few questions about, supernatural conventions and the crazy ride that this man's been on since he was 7 years old. Hey,
And I'd love a swing panel would be nice. I don't know what time is limited for all of us. But I don't know if, I'm sure most of you know me, some don't, but as Jason mentioned, one second. Technical.
Chris in action.
High tech here. Don't worry about it, just we don't need that. Who needs that laptop? I've been working with creation since I was actually 13 years old, which is scary. They had a comic store at my elementary school, and in 6th grade I used to leave the cafeteria and the hamburgers to buy comic books. And one day they had a help wanted sign, and my mom was looking for a new job, so I told her, go work in the comic store. Because who wouldn't want to work in doing selling comic books? But obviously it wasn't that. Adam needed an assistant, so my mom started working there, and I started helping out. First convention I was technically working at was in '88, was a Star Wars convention. So I've been around 89 years. But that was my start into this kind of environment, and obviously I've been associated ever since. I had a band for 9 years, and the band broke up, and that's when I picked up the camera, selling stuff on eBay, which led into doing band photography. Started doing some stuff for some music magazines, and that right around the time Creation started the photo ops at Lord of the Rings. So that was my Stargate and Star Trek. So that was again back into the science fiction field, which a little show started in 2007. Which was Buffy on Saturday and Supernatural on Sunday. And I think Lynn is here, maybe not, but I think Lynn was there. So that was the first, and that was the start of something that is never going to happen again for me. And it's a testament to you guys that the love that everyone showed me, but at the same time, I think we were all in the right place at the right time. With the cast obviously included, because there's no cast like these guys. And it's a love that I've gotten that I know will never be repeated, and honestly it should never be repeated again. But it's love all around, up in this mofo. I could babble for hours, but who wants to hear that? So I'm going to take some questions. Hi.
Hi Chris, I'm Jill. I was going to ask you, what was the moment where you got inspired to do photography for life? But since you just sort of explained
Yeah, that's funny. My dad was a photographer in Vietnam, and my uncle was a photographer in the Korean War. So I grew up in having cameras around. My dad gave me a camera when I was, I think, 5. I still have a picture, I have to dig it up, of my first picture I took, which was my cat, who, being an only child, she was my sister, and I had long conversations with her, which is another story, but, so that was my dad had a dark room in the basement, and it was something mysterious about seeing a blank piece of paper become a photo, and most of them were of my mom, which was just kind of, I think, embedded more so in how special it was. And it was a mysterious thing about it, because seeing a picture that was just a paper become either me or my mom, or his GTO or his cars or anything, I think embedded in me, and just was something I wanted to do when I got older. It just happened. I never went to school for photography. People ask me about that. Took some classes, but it was mostly hands-on, which I think learning something sometimes like that is better to do it yourself, because you develop your own style opposed to how you were trained to do it. Which is different for everyone.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. And thank you, because you kind of did answer more into that question. Because I was going to go on a trend of your funniest moment in photo ops, but that was awesome. So thank you.
It's funny, photo ops, there's an unwritten rule, and it's kind of, it's a, I don't want to say a secret club, but because I think it's a moment that, for you guys being there, it's sometimes you have your guard down, and I always wanted to have an environment that lent itself to being yourself, and not being judged, and not worrying about what people think. And that's why there's music, because it keeps it, kind of joyous, but also it's your moment, and no one should be part of that besides you and the person there. And if you want to share it, that's your prerogative. But it's not something I want everyone to hear. There's a reason for everything that happens there.
Awesome, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Hi, how are you?
Other side.
Oh, sorry. Holy.
What is this, your first time?
Like you've never been
Hi.
to a convention.
Hi, Chris. First, I wanted to thank you for what a wonderful job you did with these pictures, because those are the greatest memories of the con for everybody. I wanted to ask you if there's anything, if you find that you're in a difficult situation where it's difficult to take a picture or something comes up, like how do you handle those kind of things,
Just say it a little louder.
What?
Just say it a little
Oh,
louder.
yeah, sorry. When you go to take a picture and there's like a difficult situation or something comes up and how do you handle it?
Very aggressively. No, I'm kidding.
Not diplomatic.
No, I mean, you feel like everyone is different, and every situation is different, and obviously the girls from the I'm Alive are there for the high pressure, with the guys and with Misha. Misha's not a guy. It's dependent on the situation. But again, it's something that person's experiencing, and you want just them to help them through it.
Anything technical difficulties, you don't run into any?
Well, you don't want to curse anything, but no. I mean, I dropped my camera once. I don't know if anyone notices, but I don't actually wear a strap because it pulls on your neck. That's just my thing. So I don't wear a strap. So I had it in my hand, and Osric had a cosplay with a top hat. And he put the top hat on my speaker, and it had a cushion in it, and just coincidentally, my camera fell into the hat. Magic. It was like magic. It wasn't magic. Thank you, though. Hi.
How's it going?
How are you?
So, as a professional myself, I do believe that it is the photographer that makes the photo good, not the actual camera. However, I wanted to know what your camera of choice is, and I know that there may be also a lot of beginners out there as well that may want to know what they should start off with.
Yeah, of course. I started with a Rebel, which was Canon. My dad had given me his Leica when I was young. He obviously let me take it out back then, but that is my camera of choice. Like to go out only because it's not gigantic, and you could kind of wear it. I could hide it in my jacket if I'm in a city at night that you don't want to flash around with a big camera. But I have a Leica black and white, which only shoots black and white, which is kind of a throwback, which I really dig. The camera I use here, sometimes when you use something for work, you have a hard time separating work from your personal work. And if using the work camera, I'd be paranoid about dropping it. or losing it, because I use it all the time for shows. But the biggest thing is, as you know, have a backup, which is a big thing. Because something will break or memory cards get corrupted. It's happened to everyone. But just be prepared.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Hi.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. My
Hi.
friend Kim and I were at the first Supernatural Con in Chicago. So, just wondering, what's your favorite kind of photography to do? I hated studio when I took photography. I liked being out with landscapes and everything. And you do a lot of studio. What is your favorite part?
When I started, I actually, like I mentioned, I had an eBay store, which is like a 21st, I guess we're in the 21st century, 21st century pawn shop, and someone had brought me a stolen Rolex, and I said, this is probably not the right business to be in anymore, but I had bought a camera for that, so I started with kind of product stuff, and then I was into vans again. My favorite, though, is definitely landscape, just wide open spaces, but almost like desolation, which is kind of depressing, but in a way, it's something I enjoy, which I went to Iceland last in May, which was amazing, because it's basically a country of the most beautiful desolation I've ever seen.
Lighting.
Yeah.
Awesome lighting. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. My favorite, though, when to find your favorite, you have to experience a lot of different types of settings and environments, and everything you do will help you be better at the other thing. When I used to do weddings, it got me better at doing this type of work. Because you get used to getting people comfortable in front of the camera. For about a year, and when Grandma started bugging you about reprints, time for a new career. To each, it was again a learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hey, Chris. So the more normal photography that we use in our daily lives are selfies. So I want to know what your best selfie tip is.
I have drone arms, so I always go for the higher angles, which are just lend itself to people having their chins up. But it's just that way. I just like to do goofy things with that, but high angles. Okay, just so you know, these are all pictures that I've taken over the years, and there will be a book eventually, one way or another, which is collecting years of behind the scenes stuff, but obviously no one had the access, and the actors being our relationships and as comfortable as they are with me, it lends itself to something very personal, especially for me, because I'm away almost 100 days a year from home, which means I don't see my wife or my kids for 100 days a year. My mom had passed away, and I was home for a couple of weeks, and I had the next show was a Supernatural show. And someone had told me, you don't want to stay at home, and I hadn't, obviously gone through that with my family, but I said I am going to be with family. So.
Aww.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Amy. I have a two-parter. So first, what is the craziest thing you've ever seen in the photo room? And second, do you have like a favorite pose that people pick to photograph?
What was the first one, the craziest thing?
Yeah, craziest thing.
There is a unwritten rule.
What happens?
And I am almost, I don't know if you guys, who's used to read comic books, because I'm a total nerd, but there was a Marvel character, he was called the Watcher. And he lived in the sky, and he was bald. He had a big head, like I do. And he watched. And I like to think that that's what I do. I don't float in the sky, unfortunately, but it's a moment that is for that person that's there. And for me to rat them out, it would be sad. But there was it was a Lord of the Rings show, just one thing, a Lord of the Rings convention, and Elijah Wood had done his photos, and I was we were all kind of the same age, so I was really friendly with those guys, but he had left his water bottle, and he used to have a large group of Japanese girls that would come to the shows to see him. And he snuck out the back, and they were waiting for him at the front. And as a joke, I came out and I said, "Who wants Elijah's water?" and the girl tackled me. And she opened it and poured it on her head. Absorbing the essence, I guess. But yeah. As far as favorite pose, I love the one where everyone lays on the dirty floor and does this cute time. I really don't like that one, only because I have a problem with my knee, but also if you ever saw what lives on the hotel floor, you would never want to touch it. Scary. Thank you.
Thank you.
My favorite pose, that's a good one. I do like standing on the chair, doing the selfie ones. Except when I have vertigo and feel like I'm gonna throw up. Hi.
It's called a hangover.
Two-parter question. What's your favorite picture that you've taken, and what's your favorite picture that someone else has taken?
That's a good one. It's hard to. I love this one of Bill. No, I do like that one of Bill. But it was actually, I was in Iceland. I took a picture of. We actually went into a volcano that was 400 feet down on this rickety elevator, and I looked up, and it was like the blue sky, and where the elevator came down, and it almost looked like an eye, or like a giant. And it was just one thing that I visualized when I took it, and it kind of came out how I thought it would. That's sometimes rare, because you've got an idea of something or an image that you take, and you don't really see it until you get it on the computer and print it out, and that just worked out that way. As far as others, that's a hard one. It obviously be my kids, like their first pictures. Which always remember looking in their eyes the first time, which is hard to explain. But probably the first, I think I did a selfie with them as they handed me to me, because my wife had surgery for the babies. I have two boys, but they're 8 years apart. They didn't come at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I wanted to know what rock photographers influenced you into going into rock photography.
That's another, it's such a why, because I actually grew up with, my mom was big into soul music, and my grandfather was big into jazz music, and my dad was huge into classic rock, and disco. Not that that's an individual photography, but being exposed to the different kinds of music, I think, lend itself to what you guys hear in the photo room, as far as the different types. But as far as photography goes, there's so much, because I love the jazz photography also, which is all black and white from the 40s and 50s. But as far as the era of photos, probably the 70s. There was something about I don't know if you guys remember, there was like they have these filters on the camera that make the lights look like stars. And it just has that classic look about it. But it's hard to narrow down.
Okay, thank you.
I love it all. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. First, my friend Elise couldn't be here today. She really wanted me to tell you that she says hi.
Yes, tell him to lose the Snapchat glasses.
Okay. And I was wondering who's the most fun to do photo ops with?
Again, this falls into the unwritten rule. No. As far as, you have to think of it as a whole, because it's hard to single out one person, but these shows have and will always be my favorites, no matter what. I don't want to say anything about other shows, or I enjoy, I love what I do. I'm lucky to do it. But again, it fell into just everything matching up for me personally. This is why, I think a lot of the actors to say how special you guys are, and how obviously we wouldn't be here without you. But also for me, knowing that you guys know what I do and how I want to let people go home with something they remember, and not just a picture. Because a lot of times that moment you have is never happening. And it won't ever be that way again, and that's why there's a magic about it, and that's what I wanted it to be. And not just a picture on a concrete floor in a Comic-Con kind of thing. It's a memory that is one of a kind. But tell her I love her. Hi.
So we have a really serious question.
Yes.
And then
Have you ever been pranked by JT?
So
Go for it.
the really serious question is, Sam or Frodo?
Say again?
Sam or Frodo?
They know my love of Lord of the Rings is immense. Sam or Frodo was the question. I don't think Frodo could have been Frodo without Sam, so I will have to say Sam. Thank you.
Okay, so the less serious question. In your travels, what has been like your favorite place that you've shot, like in nature? In nature? Like what's your
favorite place I've gone to photograph? I have never been to a place like Iceland before. I have Scandinavian background. My mother was from Canada. My grandmother was from Finland. I'd never been, so going to Iceland, I had gone for actually a travel magazine, so I coordinated with you-know-who, because he was going for the Ishwishwing trip. So to spend 3 days with him was terrible, but the first 4 days was amazing. I think I drove 5 hours without seeing a living creature, which sounds sad, but it's just the country is just why it's what I would imagine the Wild West when settlers had gone out to, just wide open volcanic rock. Not that there were volcanoes in the West, but there it was a beautiful country. Definitely my favorite. Thank you, girls. Hi, girls. Hello.
Sorry, I'm chewing right now.
You're what?
I'm chewing right now. Really
You're
good
chewing?
nachos. I'm a photographer myself. I'm sorry. My name is Tina from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And I wanted to know if you could give me any tips because I'm still fairly new on doing photo shoots for people.
I would say, people ask me about photography and doing it, and you don't want to get into it for the wrong reasons because it's something that the passionateness, which I don't think is a word, but
I got the passion.
Passionately about something like photography is very important. It's also dependent on what you're shooting, because if you're shooting, like portraits or just promos or whatever you're doing, the person has to feel comfortable, and I'm not big into posing people, like I just let them be themselves, even when I'm doing like promo shots or, because when you put people in unnatural positions, the pictures are unnatural in a way. You do your best to position with the lighting and things like that, depending on the setting. But the first thing is shoot what you love to shoot. If you love working with people, or you love working with pets, or you love working with brides, or whatever it may be, it's just something you want to.
Great. Thank you so much for the information.
You're welcome. On this picture, that was the Swain cover. The clock was in that's on the back cover of the Swain album, but I had laid in the ocean to get that. Going back to, you do what you gotta do. What's up, Eric? Cool. Guys, I think I'm leaving shortly, but I wanted to, again, just let you guys know how special you are to me. The love is immense all around. I love these guys. This is a big part of what amped this up for me to another level was having the band and Jason part of the shows, because we've known each other a long time, and they can attest to how special you guys are. I love them. I love you. The love is love all around. Thank you guys.